Hello, Mark. I'm going to do this slowly coming together Marchant. So, in the last video we got the base installed, tested out the keyboard a little bit, seemed to work. So, I mentioned that I had this piece here misaligned, which I'll drop you down. And what had happened was, see, this is a finger here with a little piece that goes out the side. And then this piece here is that piece that has like a little cutout in the middle of it. It's kind of hard to see now because everything's down in there. But I had this, basically I had this, well, I had it down like that, which is not correct. So I had to loosen it up, and then I believe it should go inside there. So I'm not going to get this line back up. See, are we correct now? There we go. So what that should do is, if you're in non-repeat mode, if you're in repeat mode, it'll drop down like that, and then every time this gear goes around, this thing slides back and forth. But if you're in repeat mode, it goes up like this, and then every time the gear goes around and this thing slides back, it'll grab the clear plate and clear the keyboard. That's all that does. There's also this finger here, so I'm not exactly, haven't really seen how that interacts yet, but there's this piece. This piece goes in here, and then gets a cotter pin through it. Like I said, I'm not quite sure what the point of that is yet, so I'll have to see when we put that all together. So I'm going to screw this back down, and I think we can probably slide the carriage on and try that. I still have to put this piece back in here, and I still have to put this pin. I could probably do that now, actually. This gets this little pin to spring load this back. Let's see if we can find the hole. There's the hole, and the pin goes through, not that way. That way. It's a taper pin, so it only goes in one way. Get that lined up. And then this, here's the big end. I think that's the big end. So we'll slide over till we line up. And then that should spring load that back. So let me just lightly tap that in. Tap it a little bit harder later. And the idea of that is, every time you pull the crank out, it's supposed to spring back. That is supposed to lock these. See, now these can't come down, and you push it in, then these can come down. You can see that. See these wiggling now? If I pull the crank back, they lock. So that's the point of that, just so that you can't change the settings when the machine is in motion. I guess it's kind of, I don't know, I was going to say it's kind of redundant. This piece is redundant on this machine, I guess, because it already has the keyboard lock. So like if you start a cycle, the keyboard gets locked, so you can't enter anything anyway. So it's kind of a weird setup. But anyway, so there's that. I'll screw this down, and then I think we can put the carriage on and try some calculations. Alright, so I was getting ready to put the carriage back on, and I realized I had forgotten to put this piece back in, which is unfortunate because I had to take the base back off and take this side back off in order to get this in. You can't get it in because this is too long over here to fit past the center of the side, so you have to take the whole thing apart to get that back in. But it's in now, and while I was in there I made a slight adjustment. I removed one of the shims from the interlock mechanism in the back here, and the reason for that is, if you remember before, when we cleared the keyboard, it wasn't returning the segments here to 0, and that's because this detent mechanism here was kind of stiff, and it's just gravity pulls it back to delatch. It was getting stuck and holding these things detented even after the keyboard was cleared. So I took one shim out of that, and that seems nice and free now. Playing on this, I did notice one other issue, and you'll see. Let me enter all ones here. I'm using Q just so I don't get oil all over the keyboard, even though I probably have already, so I have to clean that. But anyway, you can see that most of these line up, pretty close to 1. I also kind of one of the, I don't want to say drawbacks, but kind of drawbacks of the keyboard design on this is it's very difficult to get everything to line up exactly. Basically what you have to do is kind of bend the levers very slightly in order to get everything to line up. I don't think there's any way, like maybe potentially you could shim these up a little bit maybe, and that might help, but I've never, like any of these machines I've taken apart, I've never seen any kind of shims in there. So I think the reason why this is slightly misaligned now is because you never get these back in exactly the same place, I guess. Like there's no dowel pins or anything. Even though these are bolted tight to the front, I guess it's very, very slight adjustment on those. But anyway, you can see most of these line up except for this one. And what's going to happen when you activate the machine, the detent thing is going to come in and it's going to lock them. So when I push it in, you can see pretty much all of them lock to the right place except that one. That one locks back to 0. So we are going to have to do something about that, because otherwise it's going to be 1 digit off. I can try entering 2s and see what we get. So now with the detent in place, so it won't go in place, something must be too far ahead. Yeah, so now we got 1, 2, 2, 1, so that one needs adjustment, 2, 1, that one needs adjustment, 2, 2. So yeah, some of these are going to have to be adjusted slightly. That's going to be particularly difficult on this machine because of this. Usually what I do to adjust that is I take this plate off the front, and then you can hold these while you bend the lever slightly. But in that case, it's not going to work because this is pinned on here. So I might try and take the pin out of there. I don't have high confidence it's going to come out. Otherwise, we'll have to figure something out in order to adjust those. Because what I do is the big bars that run across the bottom, you can just bend those up or down slightly depending on what you need. So like these ones that aren't going up enough, we need to bend the bar up slightly so that the key pushes the bar down further in order to get the travel right on there. So that'll have to be done. You can probably do that with the carriage in. Alright, let's try this again. So basically what I've done is I've just slid the carriage on while, just hold it back off, while keeping this piece while keeping this piece over far enough so that this gear is free. See how that's free and it doesn't engage this? So now we're going on, so we'll go all the way over. So right there, not there. It's gonna start off because there's a plate that goes on the front here that has that cutout for this detent. So, but basically what we want is this to be lined up. So that should be in position 0. It's going to engage with that. So what we need now is for this piece to be lined up so that this finger is in position 0, and this is in position 0. So what I'm going to do is move this over just a little bit and see if we engage this. I don't think it engaged. It did not. Why did it not engage? Over just a little bit. No, I think it's engaged. But I don't think we are quite aligned properly yet. If I drop this in. Let's see. There's a little there. Is that correct? It might be. Let's try cranking it and see if we got incrementation here. That actually might be correct, surprisingly. So what we have to do now is we can slide this all the way over, and then there's a screw. Go on there. For some reason this piece is being difficult. I'm not wanting to. See, it has a little hook there. That hook goes on the groove of the sliding piece, and then there's a little, there we go. And there's a little screw goes in the end of that shaft. And they give you, let's see, will this one fit? Get a different screwdriver. Give you a little hole here on the side of the case. And I'll just knock the screw out. Perfect. I have to do this off camera so I'm not fumbling around here, but the screw has to go in there. And they give you a little hole here to get your screwdriver in. Which is not quite over far enough. It's going in now, so let's slide this. Why is this stuck? Stuck at just an odd angle. So because this is still loose, is it even moving? Because this is pulling the slider at an odd angle, that's why it gets stuck. So with that in there, theoretically, should be able to, yeah, that slide is nice. A little bit loose, I think. That might be the rubbing sound, but actually the rubbing sound is this pin is not 100% up yet. I can see a little rub block on top, or down rather. Let's do that. See if that took care of our rubbing sound. It did. Perfect. Alright, so this will not go all the way over yet, I don't think, because there's still this pin on this side has to go down. Let's see if we get any better. Pushing the right thing. Okay. Seems like I might have driven that pin down too far because now it's jamming on my little latch here, so I'll have to fix that, but that's how the carriage goes in. Let's see if I can pop this back out real quickly. We can do a little demonstration. So, should be able to just move this over to in the 0 position. Now we can try something like 1, 2, 3, and we will see what happens. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3. Now I noticed a little crack in this wheel. I am not going to worry about that right now. A couple of them have little cracks in them. Just the way it is. As long as they're not, falling off, I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't really know what I could do about it. If the wheel is actually split into pieces, you could take it off and glue it, but it's just one little crack. So for now, I'm not going to worry about it. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. We can try 4, 5, 6. 7. Six, 5, 4. And 3, 2, 1. Right, so we're 1 off here. Now that could easily be because of the misadjustment in one of these, possibly. Have to double check that, but otherwise it seems to work. That should be 3330, whereas 3230. So I think that just might be one of the adjustments, but carriage seems to work. They carry across, so like this was not any carried over. So I think we are looking pretty good here so far. I will have to go through and do all those adjustments to see if I can do something about the thing in the front there. But for now, that's going to be it for this video. So hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.